Okay, so they're gonna get a view of everybody back here. But in the meantime, we'll just do the videos we did and let them see that in order. I mean,
So over today is 3:30
okay.
or
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Okay, it'll take us 30 minutes to get there from here.
I'm not high.
On the high end. Share.
Okay, so who do you want me to send it to?
The folks are on the phone. And Renee, I know she's busy, but at least she can have a little bit of satisfaction of try. But the only problem, I'm not mic'd. Tomorrow we'll mic it for tomorrow. I'll just have to scream today.
Because they're very impatient. Descriptions of high D people. Well, high D people are very confident. They are bold. They will boldly go where no man has gone before. They're very self-centered. What's in it for me? They want to know. And they're domineering, sometimes to the point of scaring other people away. They have great strengths, though, and they bring those strengths to the team. Oh, yes, they're phenomenal problem solvers. They make quick decisions. They are goal oriented and they will not rest until they achieve that goal. And they love to lead the team. But a strength, when overextended, can become a weakness. Now, here are some watch outs. High Ds lack caution. They forget to look before they leap. They don't realize that the pool has been drained until after they are mid-air off the high dive. They have a tendency to overrun people, better yet, steamroll over people. And people catch on to that, and people will start to steer clear of the D. By the way, if a high D person ever starts to steamroll you, here's a great thing to do. Call them out. Do it politely, but just say, whoa, you're steamrolling over the top of me here. These people are impulsive. Let's do it now. Do that, do that, do that. And they have a deep-seated fear. This is a critical thing for you to know about high Ds. High D people fear being taken advantage of or a loss of control. Now, what about their needs? You know that people are motivated by things that satisfy their unmet needs. So what are the typical unmet needs for high D people? Well, they need status among the group, a reserved parking place near the front door, power over people, over things, decision-making authority. Constantly, they need to be challenged. You need to constantly be raising the bar with high Ds because without a challenge, they get bored. And when they become bored, they become disruptive. And they need authority. Authority to make the decisions that they are so good at making. High Ds, you see, without these people, the rest of us would be in big trouble. We need them. But the strengths are why we need them. The weaknesses are why we sometimes think, oh gosh, I'd be better off without them. If you are a student of popular culture, some high Ds from popular culture are David Letterman, Donald Trump, General Patton, Gordon Ramsay, Jerry Seinfeld, John McEnroe, Robert De Niro, Simon Cowell, and Tiger Woods. So that's just a fun way to identify with some famous high Ds. Now remember, D, I, S, or C, you are made up of all four of these parts. Some just higher and more apparent than others. So when working with a high D, remember what motivates them and what annoys them, and this will help you work better with them. Okay, now let's turn our attention to the high I style. Now, these types like to lead by inspiration. Boy, can they make a speech. And they aren't just braggarts. They lead by example. A little more laid back, people look at them and admire their work ethic and what they can get accomplished through that. Some people get promoted.
Testing 1, 2. Okay, that's not good. Testing 1, 2.
I would say, like, my laptop, I'm not gonna put any time off.
I can see where you
promoted because of what they say. They're self-promoters. But these people, the high I's, tend to get promoted because of the things they do. They're less self-promoting and they let their actions speak for them. Now let's talk about the high I people. The descriptions of high I people, these are optimistic types. They always see the bright side of everything. These are fun-loving people. They love to have a great time. They're smooth-talking devils that can talk you into stuff you won't even realize you're being talked into. They, too, are impulsive. Strengths, well, they can motivate people. The magnificence of their personality. They're great motivators of people. They're entertaining. They're fun. They can make you laugh. Great communicators. Oh, they can spin a story better than anybody. And they like to cooperate with the group to achieve the result. A strength, when overextended, turns into a weakness. If you want to rip somebody off, these are the right people. They're easy marks. They're too trusting. And you can rip them off easier than anybody. They won't speak bluntly to other people. Sometimes they know that they should go to somebody else and tell them off and tell them how it really is, but they don't want to do that because they don't want to lose a friend, so they won't speak bluntly. They have time problems. Everybody else is at work and they come drifting in, but eyes make up for it. Oh, look, donuts, everybody. They fear loss of friendships. They value their relationships with other people above all else. So sometimes they won't do this because they're afraid it will cost them a friendship. What are the unmet needs of most high I types? Well, recognition in front of the group, acceptance for who they are, warts and all, freedom to do it their way and on their schedule, and popularity among the group. High I's will judge the success or failure of their life based upon the attendance at their funeral. They're laying there in the casket. People are going by. Bring them around again. Give them another look. These people want to be popular. From popular culture, here are some famous high I people. Famous I's: Bill Clinton, Bill Cosby, Carol Burnett, Jay Leno, Lee Trevino, Liza Minnelli, Oprah Winfrey, Steve Martin, Will Smith, and Jim Carrey.
All over my back. And because we were like in a little tent, and the other rifles were right in front of us. I had to keep the my daughter was like, yes, Verena, you keep going like that. Able to listen.
This is live. We're seeing this. It should be anyway.
What about this high S personality type? Well, let me tell you something about these people. They are phenomenally loyal. These types of people are phenomenally loyal to the organization. They are steady in their workflow. Now, D's and I's do work in spurts and then kick back, spurt and kick back. S types are steady all the way through. They're restful. If D's and I's can fire you up or motivate you, the S stays calm and keeps you calm. They are patient. They can show patience with people and with things when it's called for. Great strengths for the organization. Concentrate on the tasks at hand. They rule out interruptions. And S's are interrupted by virtually nothing. Specializing in one thing. S's are energized by being able to specialize, and they ultimately become the best there ever was at doing that thing. S's will stick to it when the going gets tough. They don't give up. They don't quit. They don't even get frustrated. They're going to stay in there, hang in there, and they have the ability to stay calm in a crisis. I need a person who will keep calm in a crisis. I love high S's in crises. You overextend a strength, though, you get a weakness. The high S is very possessive. Oh, pardon me, that's my stapler, I think, right there. Or they might say, excuse me, you're in my chair. You think, no, it belongs to the company. But they've used that stapler for 18 years, so they think it's theirs. They can be too hospitable. There are times when they should more assertively tell other people off or should refuse to perform particular tasks, and they won't. That's tough for them to do. They just keep thinking eventually the other person's going to learn to appreciate them, which is probably not going to happen. They are very slow to change. They will change, but they need a lot of advance notice. You try to push through a sudden and big change on somebody with very little notice, you'll get this petrified kind of reaction. But if you start early and do the change in little bitty bits and pieces, you'll get an embracement of that change. What do they fear? Risk-taking. Let's take a look at the unmet needs of the typical high S person. Consistency from management. Consistency in the way they execute their processes and their jobs. Traditions valued and adhered to. That's what got us here, they'll tell you. Job security. Now, don't ever go to a high S person and say, we ought to get rid of you. That will not spur them to higher performance. Oh my gosh. And if you want to remember one thing and only one thing, remember this: appreciation. Appreciation, a little handshake and a look right in the eye and say, way to go, or job well done. Now, outwardly, they're not going to bust out with pride like a high I does, but inside, they're almost in tears. Oh my gosh, someone finally appreciates me. We need these people. Here's a list of famous S's. Barbara Bush, Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Stewart, John Denver, Mahatma Gandhi, Mark O'Meara, Martin Luther King Jr., Michael J. Fox, Mother Teresa, and Mr. Rogers. Michael J. Fox, Mother Teresa, and Mr. Rogers. What about this high S personality type? Michael J. Fox. About these people. They are phenomenally loyal. And Mr. Rogers are phenomenally loyal to the organization. They are steady in their workflow. And D's and I's do work in spurts and then kick back, spurt and kick back. S types are steady all the way through. They're restful. If D's and I's can fire you up or motivate you, the S stays calm and keeps you calm. They are patient. They can show patience with people and with things when it's called for. Great strengths for the organization. Concentrate on the tasks at hand. They rule out interruptions, and S's are interrupted by virtually nothing. Specializing in one thing. S's are energized by being able to specialize, and they ultimately become the best there ever was at doing that thing. S's will stick to it when the going gets tough. They don't give up. They don't quit. They don't even get frustrated. They're going to stay in there, hang in there, and they have the ability to stay calm in a crisis. I need a person who will keep calm in a crisis. I love high S's in crises. You overextend a strength, though, you get a weakness. The high S is very possessive. Oh, pardon me, that's my stapler, I think, right there. Or they might say, excuse me, you're in my chair. And you think, no, it belongs to the company. But they've used that stapler for 18 years, so they think it's theirs. They can be too hospitable. There are times when they should more assertively tell other people off or should refuse to perform particular tasks, and they won't. That's tough for them to do. They just keep thinking eventually the other person's going to learn to appreciate them, which is probably not going to happen. They are very slow to change. They will change, but they need a lot of advance notice. You try to push through a sudden and big change on somebody with very little notice, you'll get this petrified kind of reaction. But if you start early and do the change in little bitty bits and pieces, you'll get an embracement of that change. What do they fear? Risk taking. Let's take a look at the unmet needs of the typical high S person. Consistency from management. Consistency in the way they execute their processes and their jobs. Traditions valued and adhered to. That's what got us here, they'll tell you. Job security. Now don't ever go to a high S person and say, we ought to get rid of you. That will not spur them to higher performance. Oh my gosh, and if you want to remember one thing, and only one thing, remember this: appreciation. Appreciation, a little handshake and a look right in the eye and say, way to go, or job well done. Now, outwardly, they're not going to bust out with pride like a high I does, but inside, they're almost in tears. Oh my gosh, someone finally appreciates me. We need these people. Here's a list of famous S's. Barbara Bush, Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Stewart, John Denver, Mahatma Gandhi, Mark O'Meara, Martin Luther King Jr., Michael J. Fox, Mother Teresa, and Mr. Rogers.
All right. How was lunch?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. So guess what? Yeah, no, we're not done. I'm trying. We're gonna. Let's go.
So it has to teach a class. It's a lot, but you give it to one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined by our remote workers. They're all looking at you right now. So let's talk about your lunch break. How was lunch? I like that enthusiastic response.
It was wonderful.
It was good. It was great. Now you're coming up. It was wonderful. We worked at our desk. Here's our desk. I guess here's not your desk, so I understand that. All right. So for you folks here that are on the Skype call, I wasn't prepared for Skype call, so I don't have my microphone with me, but I'm going to try to remember to walk up here and scream at you so you can hear it over the microphone. So we're going to do a couple things here. We're going to do a quick review. Because you know what? Here's why we're going to do a review. I'll just tell it to you. I'm bored. And you guys should remember what that means. You bore me, you know what that means. So let me get this for. So we're gonna do this, folks over and on the remote session. They should be able to follow this as well. Current slide. Okay. So here's your onboard exercise. Returning from lunch. All of you, what is your top thing you want to delegate? What's the thing that if you delegate it, it's going to save the company money? It's going to help my team get better? It's going to take at least 1 hour off of my desk. What is that? Jot it down in your notes. What's the top thing that you need to delegate? What is the top item you need to delegate? Now, there's some of you who don't have people to delegate to. So what? You're going to need to take on research. Make that your item. You're going to research a certain item. Or you're going to take on something you can delegate to one of your co-workers in this room. Please write that down. Let's test our flexibility. Does everybody have something written down? Who has something written down they're willing to share with the rest of the room? They need to share what it is and who they're thinking about delegating. You don't have to say their names, but you're thinking about delegating it to a commander, to a socializer, to whatever. Who wants to share? Or do we get to play volunteer?
Just the recruiting.
Just the recruiting.
Just the recruiting.
Just the recruiting. Do you have a person in mind for the recruiting?
I have a socializer.
A socializer in mind. Flexibility. Let's start right here. Lay it out for her. Yeah, so she's going to recruit, and she's going to delegate that recruiting, so she's not out doing it anymore. And she's delegating it to a socializer. Am I right, wrong, correct?
You're right, you're correct.
Culture. Yeah, how you think she should sit down, script it? Not necessarily scripting, just give the form here. And then if it's good enough, you'll see it. So in other words, I'm delegating the coaching of this to you guys. So who wants to jump in and say, here, look at these and go for that?
Encourage the person to remember that, remember to encourage the person of their traits of being able to be people-oriented, encouraging, and motivated.
You guys good with that so far? So we're going to socialize. He said that they're going to remember to encourage that person, to remind them that they're good with people. What else?
Oriented,
organized,
and motivated.
Organized and motivated. We're going to remind them of that in the process.
How it's going to improve the team, or how it's going to affect us in a positive manner.
Remind that person how it's going to affect them in a positive manner and improve the team relationship. What other structure do we want to give her on this? Tell us the what. Tell us what it is.
What they're missing, or
no. Tell us what the task is.
the task is recruiting.
That'll know.
You'll
be able to connect.
And that's going to be part of the personality, being able to connect with those families.
Yeah.
That's not enough, because you need to say that, what if that person don't really know what recruiting is? You want to recruit so we can have more children, so we can, the school will be full, blah, 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 keep your job. So it might need a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You might need a little more.
Be able to build, you can build more relationships.
No, well, everybody admits what recruiting is, but say it's a new person.
Not
necessarily.
But also keep in mind, though, I think she's making a valid point. Recruiting, how many words have different meanings?
Say it again.
How many words have different meanings? Every
Right.
single word we have the and they all have different meanings.
Right.
So in order to make sure it's well defined, recruiting is what? In your department, what is recruiting?
Recruiting is going out into the community, actively going out in the community. Sometimes it's door to door. Sometimes it is flyers posted to
Festivals.
address our company, what we're here for, how we service. We try
Now-
to get enrollment.
Let me tell you, when you mentioned recruiting the other day, and I'm thinking about recruiting, you know what I thought she was referring to? I thought she was talking about when someone comes into the building and maybe wants to come to work, maybe wants to come to school with us. That's what I thought recruiting meant.
No, that's when, at that time, we were talking about that to build our client, our staff, because I know at some centers they were lacking staff. When you came the last time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about
Yeah.
staff. We
Yeah.
were
We're
talking.
talking about staff.
Yeah, we
but
were talking about staff.
Recruiting families.
recruiting for families. So
Yes.
I'm confused, right?
Okay.
Do you think your team might be a little bit confused? So why it wouldn't hurt to just, it's very clear. Why the what is very clear. Boy, now here's the other thing. What else does she have to do to make it very clear? Put it on paper. Now I stretch you a little bit. She needs to tell them a story. The what needs to be a story.
A recruitment story or the process?
No, it might be the process, might be the recruitment story. They need to, if you tell them a story about what it is. So here, this is what you have to do. Now, you know, sometimes you get up in the morning and you got to go to somebody's house and knock on the door. And they can be a little bit tired and they might be wearing their pajamas or whatever. But we're going to sit down and we're going to work with them. So I know Bill, he went to go do this one day and this happened, this happened, this happened.
Oh, okay.
Told them a story. Now they're clear on what the what is.
Yeah.
What's her next step? Next step in this recruiting process. Now, we're at a socializer, right?
Yes.
What's the next step?
Benefit they gave.
The outcome? The
Set the
outcome?
expectation.
You're-
Should also be
so-
follow-up because
Because they're socialized.
socializer's not good at follow-up.
So here's what we've gotten so far for those of you on the Skype call, or whatever call it is. The what? We need to, I forgot the words now, glorify it a little bit. We need to let them know what's in it for them. And we also need to know back of our mind, we got to follow up. How do you motivate this socializer to want to, because we're going to have a conversation. We're going to get them to agree. How do we get, what do we have to do to motivate them to get them to agree to this?
Your face is going to be classified for the agency.
And
You're going to meet
I-
so many new people, you're facing them for the agency?
And the way I do it is because I'm not from the town I work in.
Okay.
So the people that work for the company, they're from that area. So they know the area better than I do. So when I ask them to recruit, that's how I kind of get them, some other people to recruit because they know
The
the
knowledge of
areas
the area.
that I don't know.
That's a very powerful reason why you might want them in there, because they know the area, they know the people. Test you a little bit. Test you. She just said something though. Now, her whole point was perfect for socializing, so don't get me wrong, but she just said something though just a minute ago that pointed toward another personality type that would fit for it. When she said, I don't know the area, you do. No, think about that. The commander. No, that's the commander. I don't know the area, but you know the area.
Oh, so because I'm giving them that I don't know.
You're giving up, I don't know, and you're giving them the acknowledgement of their overall knowledge. They acknowledge that. They acknowledge that. Let's continue down the framework of setting up delegating recruiting. Because now, tell us the truth. How many hours does this get off your desk?
It depends. This is a monthly.
This is a monthly thing?
Yes, it is.
And it's a twice a week. And
And it's
twice a
monthly, it's
week.
throughout.
And then,
All the time.
So it's constant. And if you can get this off her desk, just on a side note, what could she do? Don't answer. What could she do instead of doing this? Paperwork. Letters.
Ladders.
Meeting deadlines.
Enrolling the family.
Enrolling.
Enrolling people, which means what? That's a truthful answer, paperwork. You still can't answer. Means what to her?
Job security.
More free time. You got time up to something else.
Well, free time's gonna fill up with something else. She doesn't get to cut from 40 hours to 35 hours and get paid for, that. More flexibility. Okay, wait a minute. Say it again. Her answer was, she doesn't have to take work home. I don't know what else would motivate me. I got the stuff done, but there's something else bigger. What else would motivate you?
What would motivate me as a socializer?
No, not as a socializer, but what would motivate you to
I'm sorry.
make you say, okay, I'm delegating this. I can hang with it.
I can develop my staff.
Yes.
I can have more time to develop my staff.
So her answer is, I can develop my staff and have more time to develop my staff. And then guess what happens? Your staff will take leadership roles. You're known as the go-to person to bring people up in the company, and your team gets better. And then what happens? Your team gets better. Doesn't your life get easier?
Yeah, because you're able to delegate more things.
Able to delegate more things.
And then, yes, it does. It gets more stressful because then my OM will say, Tracy, who's next? Who's moving out? So I can.
Well, here's
I appreciate it all.
It kind of reflects on how you as a leader are helping them. They wouldn't have gotten to that point if it wasn't through your encouragement and your skills and your.
See, and it's job opportunities open up someplace else. You can.
Maybe you can move up because I see that you're a leader. But here, let me ask you a question. If she doesn't develop her team, so they get to the point where they are promotable, if she doesn't develop her team, she has people on her team that are not developed, who are just getting by, is her life getting any bit better at all?
No.
Is a job getting, is she still taking work home and staying status quo? And what I can guarantee you, you're staying status quo in this company, you're looking at the door. Your company's growing too fast. Your company's growing too fast. So be aware of that. Okie dokie, hunky dory. No, you guys are so quiet. I'm warning you about this board stuff. I warned you once before. If you will kindly, no, let's not do this exercise yet. Add it in here. How do we learn? In your workbooks, we start the subject, how do we learn?
Visually.
So here's the challenge here. We have to do our behavioral styles, and we have to also melt in the learning process. So on page 18, the learning process is called VART. It's in 4 things, but we really only need to concern ourselves with 3. Visual, auditory, reading and writing, and kinesthetic. Now, reading and writing and kinesthetic are so close to the same that we probably don't need that distinction. But that's the learning process. Some people are very much visual learners. You guys know a visual learner, right? A visual type of person. They have to see things. They want to make sure they see how it works and see how it flows. They're usually very fast-paced about things. They just got to see. If you don't show it to them, then go away. While the next one is the auditory person. They're much slower. They want to hear things in a concrete, clear as a bell process. It's got to be clear. Every single note they have to hear. They got to get all the different harmonics of the process going. And that very last person, the kinesthetic person, when it comes time for them to learn, they absolutely have to have a concrete feel for it. Concrete feel for it. How many of you know people on your team that are visual learners? If you have any doubt, though, visual learners, they show it to you by how they carry their bodies. Usually nice, perfect posture, high, erect, eyes up high, looking up high, head back. That's how they usually carry themselves. They usually don't waste time getting from point A to point B because they can see where they got to go. How many of you have auditory learners in your group? You can tell them they're very precise in their diction and in the words they use. They want to make sure it rings clear. They very much want to make sure that when they use their hands to talk, it's almost like they're conducting the orchestra. Almost like they're conducting the orchestra. Kinesthetic people, how many have people like that? Because you can tell them, they pretty much always into, they dress in the soft fabrics and things like that. They want to know how it feels. Pretty slow. They pretty much want to know how their feet feel against the ground, so they're always kind of looking down at their feet. Just slow and easy. They want things to be concrete and solid. So you guys tell me, if I'm a visual learner and you're going to teach me about recruiting or about anything, what are some visual type words you can use? We'll go one per table, one visual type word. I'll help them see. They can see it. One visual type word.
Oh, visual, I'm sorry.
See it work, okay. Go a little bit. Let you see it. Yeah, go a little bit deeper though. You guys go a little bit deeper.
Draw it out.
Draw it out. That covers two types of that. I can see they can draw it out. Give me a visual type of word. They can observe the results. I want you to observe how this person's getting the job done. Visual type of word. Oh, they can act it out. You guys see them act, right? Where are you guys at? That's not good because they took all the good ones. They just can't see the word clearly to see something else. I just gave you one. I think I'm looking for a word. They can't see the word clearly to see the way out. Clearly. Clearly.
Clearly, saying visualizing though,
Oh, wait a minute. She just has to know. She said, seeing it clearly is the same as visualizing.
For me, if I can see, I can visualize this in my mind. I can play this out in my mind.
Isn't visualizing one of the words we could use? Can you visualize the results? You know what you guys missed? Can we focus? Can we focus? All right, now let's skip down to the last one, kinesthetic. Give me some words for kinesthetic. If you're talking to somebody who learns things because they have to touch it, they want a nice concrete feeling for it, give me hands on. I think so. That's from over here someplace. Hands on. Okay. Okay, doing. Give me. So doing describes. Model it. What other words? What other words talk to a concrete person?
Repetition.
Over and over again. You guys like that one, organization? That kind of that's organized, especially if you say it that way. Oh, there's a perfect one. You feel the structure of how we put this together. What about back here? Concrete. Yeah, that's perfect, huh? A weapon of words here. Weapon of words, because everything you say to this type of learning's got to go there. Except for that's too hard. Would you think, guys agree? We got enough to figure out the personality styles. Now we got to figure out what learning style is. So here's the method. We talked about this the last time we were together, but here's the method. Show them, tell them why you're doing it. Have them do it, have them tell you why you're doing it. And then make them go teach somebody else. Show them. Here's the process. So if I'm going to do recruiting, I'm saying, you and I are going out recruiting together. I'm going to show you why I do this. Now, why I hit the door this hard is this. Yes, really. I'm going to show them. And I'm going to tell them why I do this. Why do I knock instead of ring the doorbell? Why do I say this? Why did I say this instead of saying that? They saw it, but I'm going to explain why. Finish up that house. Cool, you got it? Great. Now you do it. So why are you knocking that way? Well, because this and that. Okay. Talk to them after it's all said and done. Tell me why you did this. Why did you do that? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? If they don't have it, go back and show them again. Something written. You're doing a financial report. We do this line this way, and here's why. Then the next line goes this way. If I do it this way, then it fits better on this line. Show them, but tell them why at the same time. Now you do the report. You tell me why you're doing each step of the whole thing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to stop some of this long learning process, invest up front to show, do, and then teach. Invest up front. Show why. Do why. And then the last step, have them go teach somebody else. Have them go teach somebody else. So maybe they're going to take over vendors meetings for you. They're going to start going to vendors meetings instead of you going to them. Okay, the first time they go, you're going to say, here, let me show you how I take notes. What we need to see so the whole team can be on the same page and they all can respect the work that you're doing. Or they all can see that you're not making mistakes. But let me show you, and here's why I take my notes this way. The next week of the meeting, why don't you take the notes, and then after you finish taking the notes, you come back and you tell me why you did it this way. Now, they're maybe in a different room, or maybe in the same room with you or something, but they're there, you're there, but you're leaving them alone to take the notes. And then they got to come back and tell you, here's why I did this. If they got it, great. But if they don't, have them do it again. You show them again, then do it again. After it's all said and done, you say, now, what I need for you to do is go teach him what you just learned in that meeting. Teach it to him. Now, he was in the meeting, so he knows what was going on. But if I'm supposed to go to him and teach him how to do it, he can look at it and say, well, you missed that step. You got that step right. I got that step right. Send him out recruiting. Let's go teach. Here, come with me. I'll teach you how I do this. He already knows how to do it, right? You can go back and say, you know, he missed that step, but you know what? He's got it down except for those 2 steps. What score do you give him? Oh, out of 180 points. 80, 81 points. If that's the case, you're finished. You sit there and you write right then and there. Pass, learn, process, delegate. You write it up, you put it in their profile, put it in their paperwork right then and there. 80%. You are writing it up for 2 reasons. You don't want to roll back on you, but this is when you know that you have to let go. You're done. You're letting it go. That last 20% you're looking forward to get to, they will never get there if you're micromanaging them, if you don't let them develop their own style, their own skill with it. If you don't let them go. Now, that 80% includes knowing the rules and not doing anything wrong, illegal, wrong, anything like that. That's that 80% part of that. But that 80%, if you don't let them go, they're never going to get that 100%. And you have to be fully aware of this. they're going to end up doing the job better than what you were doing it. They're going to end up doing the job better than what you were doing it. Because what you taught them and their knowledge melting into each other, the person they went to go teach, they can go to them and ask them questions as well. They'll end up doing the job better than you did. You have a better team. You have a better way to develop people. We get stuck in stuff sometimes. It's just not right. We picked on her just a little bit and said, no, you're telling people recruiting, but that means a lot of different things. So and it does. I agree it does. So this is what we're going to do. Skip all that. Groups of two, please. Move into a group of two. Everybody move to a group of two. Well, if you don't have to move, you don't have to move, but that's fine. But spread out some so you don't accidentally hear everybody else's conversations. I do have a question. Why does one table have 8?
Wow. Because they love each other sometimes.
And one table has 2.
It works out perfectly for this exercise.
Oh, do we have any extra papers I can use? I don't need to make copies, but I just need to make papers. You use what?
You need writing paper?
Yeah, no, just like copy paper.
Okay, I got it. You're okay.
You might need
Look, Miss Betty don't want to. Oh, no, she doesn't.
Everybody grab one piece of paper, please. Everybody grab one piece of blank paper and pass it on. It's coming from over here.
Here, partner.
For what? Oh,
Oh, don't fold it. Here. Give me another piece. All right. Now, for those of you Skyping in, I think we want you to see the pain your teammates have to go through here. No, I just realized we didn't ever show slides up there. Okay, here we go. Okay. Decide. Everybody has a decide who's gonna be A and who's gonna be B.
oh.
Who's A and who's B? A, do not let B see this. Do not let B see this. Who's A, who's B? Do not let B see it. No, you're just 2 pages. 2 pages. B does not get to see this. Who's A, who's B? Do not let B see this.
That's a lot.
A.
What am I laughing at that? We didn't have any.
Do not let B see this thing.
Oh, the same.
I do.
Okay. Here's a challenge with how we teach people how to do things. We're gonna have a contest. Hey, You're going to tell me, walk through the instructions. You're not to show them the instructions. You're not to show them yourself. You're just going to tell them what to do. Okay. The best one gets a standing ovation from everybody. So, hey, walk through the steps. There's 2.5. There's plenty of steps. I think you got two pages easily, 2.5 pages. Walk through the steps. Read the steps to that person. Do not reach out to help them do it. Just tell them. What's the number one doing thing? Let me tell you how to do it. Steps 1, 2, 3, 4. Just tell them. And have them execute them. Yeah. Just don't show it. Yeah, for those of you on the call, what they're building paper airplanes. I'm not trying to tell. I'm trying to let this. I'm sorry. They don't build it. Yeah, because her direction, you see her direction, each plane is different. Not each, but there's like 4 different
the top edge of the paper line up the smart turn the paper, turn unfold after the section.
Like this? Should I have folded it like this?
upper level and right order while bringing the upper level and right level. When fully correctly, a new part is created with the chin straight and the chin. I'm not, y'all not understanding what I'm doing.
Okay, now flip the paper over. Make the creases roll down the tip of the tongue. Only correctly the tip. Okay, we can't do this. The point of the tip. We can't do that. It's not how you make that. Can I show her what we're supposed to be making now?
Everybody else is jumping. All right, hey, ladies and gentlemen, come on, let's go.
That's why I'm visual. I can't explain myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, show your feet the picture. Show them the
He was close. I think we were close.
It's determined to do it right. That's what it is.
It was out of there. I agree with what you said. He kept saying, unfold again, unfold again and again, unfold again and again. They landed right on you. I don't know how they do it. Well, she said, she said the paper was a square. It said a square. And we had a rectangle.
I used to make this way, but you know what?
Because they made a good point. The paper is rectangle. And it says started with a square. So we didn't sort out.
Did anybody's paper airplane fly? Really? Nobody's paper airplane flew?
Research hers did a little bit.
Look at it.
So you guys did, I think you did okay.
Yeah, with the rectangle.
This is this. That's this here. Mine. Thank you.
Okay, now, what we got to get in the habit of doing, we're going to teach people how to do these skills. I'm going to do using a thing called Smart Art right now. I want you to get back, I want you to get to doing it. Smart Art. Now, for those of you who are on, the, let me see if I can find it for you real quick. Let's see here. Stop sharing. I'm gonna see if I can get you guys who are on the webinar here, the same page we're on.
On the mobile, it's different. And it should convert straight over to your desktop.
Okay, so let's review Smart Art. Let's learn Smart Art real fast. It was designed for PowerPoint, which is why I'm going to show you where to do this. But you can do it in a Word document. You can do it in your Outlook. You can do it on a spreadsheet. You can do it wherever you want to do it. The ideal here is to always make sure that your instructions are not like they are right here. Okay? Honestly, there's no way you could build a paper airplane with someone just reading this to you. Yet, most of us are thinking, well, maybe our team knows what this means, knows what this is going to work, knows how this gets put together. So I'm going to suggest that you always write your plans and you put them together on this. I think I promised you guys last time, if you're doing this and you start doing it on a consistent basis, it takes you no time at all to fill this up. It takes you no time at all to fill this up. So all we have to do is find this one I just made up for us. You click in what I will call the ocean. This is going to be difficult to do like this. Touch on the word insert. Across the top is it says Smart Art. So insert Smart Art. When you click on that Smart Art, you'll get this screen right here, where it'll show all the different programs. Let's work with this recruitment program. You're going to have several choices. It gives you a choice where you can look at all of them. if I'm going to help you learn how to do the recruitment process, I'm delegating this to you. Is it better that I have a process, or is it better that I put it in a list? Or is it a cycle kind of thing that I need to put it in? They give you the list here. So cycle, hierarchy, relationship, the matrix. Which one do you think is better for helping someone understand, here's a process for you to go out and start recruiting, because I'm not going out on the street with you anymore. Which one is better? The list? Everybody agree with the list?
It depends on what kind of learner they are too, though.
I would prefer using the cycle because it's something we have to tell me doing. And I like when I describe it to my teammates, I explain to them how when we go out recruiting, how the different process goes, and then how we go back to the reason of why we go back to recruiting. How it always leads back for us to go out.
Any other thoughts? Because I'm going to put this, I'm going to do the work and put it together, but you're going to teach me how to do this.
I'm gonna have a list so I can make sure that I covered A, B, C, D, E.
Almost like a check off. I would like to highlight.
Check off.
Not a check off, that's.
It sounds like a list to me. Okay, so in this smart art process, they have a whole series of lists that you can use. Now, I'm going to pick one that's kind of plain and simple and Jane for you, but what we can do, we can change it later on. We'll pick this one on the far end there. So you see on the right-hand side there, you see how that one's going to shape up. So I'm going to say, okay. Now where it says delegation and skills, at the top there, I'll probably just put that in as saying recruiting. Instead of changing that, we'll just change recruiting. That's what I'll put there. What is the first step? The first thing that has to happen. Now I'm going to type that right here in the text box, but I also can type it over here in that text box. I can type it right here. If I click on this arrow right here, I can type it. Oops. Maybe, there you go. I can type it right there too. What's the first step you think we should have? Materials, LS. LS.
You gotta find where you're gonna go.
So now you're gonna it sounds like you might be already shifting around a little bit.
Yeah.
See, so I'm not too worried about shifting around with the smart art thing though. So I can shift it around myself later on.
Yeah.
So let's focus on the material part of this right now. The area is called materials. What's the next thing? What's the subset of materials? What type of materials are we talking about?
Flyers.
Hold on. So let's type in flyers.
Hey.
Can do two things. Same time. You guys got to help Raphael out because he got to do it too.
Take the flyer.
So add recruitment log, we heard that on there.
We should have your badge.
Oh, you know what? Shouldn't they have their badge before they go out?
Yeah.
So here's what we're doing. You're gonna end up changing this around several times, right?
What are you
As you
saying?
process it. But the first time you do this, from now on, when it comes time that person got promoted, we were talking about earlier, got promoted, you just go pull this out to the next person.
Oh.
She said,
What is not a badge, it's a
And can I say
permit.
something?
We have to have
Which
a
people,
permit.
some people might think that's relevant, but where I worked was a rural town, so when I first learned how to recruit, before we got out the car, we called the parents because out there they have a lot of dogs. So if you're in the city, you wouldn't think of that because, you know, in the city, it's not like that. But in the country, there's a lot of dogs. So we would call the parents and we would ask them to please put their dog away before we got out the car.
So you see why you can't have this go?
Because them dogs was out there.
No, but you're
No,
recruiting though.
the question is, you're doing
Oh,
phone
I'm
call
sorry,
recruitment.
my mind went to recruit.
You mean to home
I'm
business.
doing home business.
Oh.
She got an extra piece of paper she ain't telling.
So for those of you online, but you know what though? Liz, she makes a good point here though. Her list for being in a rural area is different than being in the center of Houston.
Yeah, it is.
That was the whole point.
Yeah, that was your point. Yeah.
That's why you get some people from that area that know maybe where families that have dogs or they have, I don't know, other kind of animals.
That's where you're gonna look at those out,
Snakes.
folks.
Yeah, they have snakes
Snakes
too.
are pets in the yard.
Uh-huh.
Boy, if I see a snake in this.
Yeah. Look, there was a snake inside the gym the other day. So they're everywhere.
All right, so
I was like, oh my God.
you're gonna follow right through this whole process to get all your materials in place. And then all you have to do when you get the materials in place, over in the text, right up here, and then backspace. Yep, just one. Yeah, that's one. And then we type in our new category. What's that? After we do materials, what's our new category? Okay, so backspace and then type in the word planning.
I make like a map, mental map of where I'm going, so I don't waste gas and time. So I go from point A and just keep going around and kind of make a circle back around.
That's gonna be in maps.
Yeah.
That'd be your next section. But by the way, you can, with Microsoft's Office, you can go ahead and print that map out right on this.
That's cool.
You can say, okay, here's your route for today. Here's the buildings you need to go to, and here's where they are. You can put that out on there. Now, I'm not so sure I'd have that on. I would have it separately, but this is a document that you're going to keep because when that, like we said earlier, when that person gets promoted, you got a new person coming in. You want to be able to say, here, let's sit down. Let's talk about this. Let me show you this step, this step, this step. How many times did you just save yourself and showing them that step, showing them how to do it, and not even actually out there with it? You just walk them through. Here's this. Here's that. Here's that. Here's this. Here's that. Now, here's why we did it. Here's how we did it. Now you tell me the process and why we do these steps. Now you may still want to go out there the first time and make sure that they are good with it. But I'm just saying you say, print it up, save it. We'll save it on your hard drive. You got a route for them to get? You can go right onto Google, not Google, you can use Google, but Microsoft uses Bing and put your map in there and it'll help you track the footprint. But here's the power of this. So I want you just to choose whatever you want to. You can change the layout. You can change the colors. He's going to change his layout, and I'm going to change the layout for the folks. Let's call these folks the folks watching from home. You know they're at home already, right? We're going to Skype in from home. Okay, so we're watching from home. I can change the layout, and he's going to change his layout. Somebody said they would put little check boxes in. He chose the layout where I can the little check boxes there. So now I can print it out and give it to the person and say, all you can do is check this off every time you do this. The layout I'm showing people at home is they can actually put pictures in. They can put the picture in. Here's what the log book looks like. Here's what this looks like. Here's what this airplane looks like. Here's what this fold looks like. I guarantee you got the up one more to the right. You can just take you can take a screenshot, put it in there, or have a shot up from the internet, put it in there. See. dogs. Warning, put up pictures of vicious dogs. Well, you can use that. When you're delegating something, the key thing here is make sure they have clear directions and clear learning. And clear directions and clear learning. This is how you can use smart art and detail to get this. Any questions here? Now, what we're doing, the list is kind of boring, to be honest. There's a lot of things you can do to it. Change the color and change the style. So he's going to choose a different color. I'm going to choose a different color. And then we're going to choose a different style for it. What you'll find when this is taking place, when you have it like this, engagement takes place. Agreement takes place. Yeah, I'll be happy to run that financial report for you if I knew how to do it. Oh, well, here we go. Step one is this. Step. Oh, wait. No, step two is this. Step three is that. What I have to do after that? Do that. Now, also to be very honest with you, we'll go back up here to change styles. I'm sorry, yeah, layouts. We're going to drop down. And we say more layouts. Choose one that says in the processes. Best practice says when you're laying out this for delegation, you're delegating something, more than likely it's a process. And best practice says you need to choose a process. Okay, so
just anyone?
Yeah, anyone. Okay. So you can see the flow. That's why they say this is your best one to do. They can see the flow. Now, some people take the process and made a cycle. I don't suggest you do that for people. Just have them do the process. This is where we start. This is where we finish. Materials, mapping, all these different things like that. Make sure you have all these before you go to the next arrow. Next arrow, next arrow. When a worker starts here, are they here for long term? Long term? I mean, you get somebody here for 10 years? If you hired 5 people off the street today, 10 years from now, how many of those 5 would be here? 1 out of 5? Yeah. Might be 2.
Just 0. I'm only speaking of my program. My program is within that frame. There's only one guy that's there that was originally there.
Okay, so let's take it down from that amount of years, say 2 years from now. You have 5, you hired, let's make it 10. You hired 10 new people. 2 years from now, how many people were there? Right here, 1, I see 5 here. You know. Why would you continue to recreate this over and over and over again? Why would you continue to, even if people are not getting promoted, they're leaving you. This is your path to delegation. You can lay it out step by step by step. I know it's some extra work for you. But you get it done, and you know what? You're going to change this. Because like we already said, well, materials probably shouldn't be the first thing on it. But let me show you in the classroom what you would do with that. If I need to change that one, all I need to do is highlight what I needed to highlight materials down to recruitment log, name badge, and stop it planning. I'm going to control exit so it gets put out. Hit backspace, control V, print it back in. So now planning is first, then materials. Copy everything that's in that section you need to move. Exit, control X, cut it out, and then place it where you need to place it with control V. So let me show the folks at home who are at home. Let's take just a second if I can get my mouse to work here. Sorry guys at home. Mouse doesn't want to work on this. Okay, so we just copy it. Control X. Control X. Go down to planning, we'll hit enter, paste it in. So now we have badge planning. Move them around, your backspace, you tab, you move them around, put them in the order you want. Choose a process that you're looking at that you think best describes it. We have two different processes, what he has and what my folks have. When you're ready to take that extra step, start screenshotting things. And then pick one that has, like his doesn't have, find one that has where you can put pictures in it. And then you just drop the picture right where the mark is. Nope. So here's searching through all of them. You can do that just as well. There's cycle. There's a hierarchy. You have to add the decision branch. He's going through all of them. Take a look. But just take a picture of something and put it on there. And walk people through it. I'm sorry, it's a lot of more work up front. A lot more work up front. You'll see the payoff the next time you have to deliver this to somebody. And even after the first time, you can say, well, that wasn't quite the way I wanted it to be, so I'll do it this way. I'll do it this way. That'll make your life a little bit easier. You can flow a little bit faster with it that way. You want to delegate? That's the way to do it. What principles can you put in your head about that? I mean, not principles, but what do you see with what you wrote down on your paper that you can do? How do you do it? What are you thinking about? What is the task that you're saying, okay, I really need to move this off my desk because I'm going to get this 1 hour a week back? You got that task? Start charting it out of your mind. How am I going to put it together? Now, I do know some people who draw it out on a piece of paper first before they put it together. This is so easy to manipulate. Just put it together, then move it. Then move it. Often you guys get emails from people that say, here's a task for me to do. Every day, every minute. This is a task for me to do. So, I can take that email, by the way, and put it right inside of one of these smart arts. If they've laid it out this way, even if they haven't, I can fix it. Because they laid it out. No, people send you emails. We need to do this. I'm going to copy and paste that and drop it right inside a piece of smart art. Copy it and put it right inside a piece of smart art, and I'm going to manipulate it the way I want it to look. I'm going to manipulate it the way I want it to look. Yes.
What do you do when your staff is somewhat independent? They do their own thing. Like they're, of course, I'm overseer of them, but most of the stuff that they're doing in their centers and most of they're doing in the community is independent work. How do you designate something to somebody that's already doing it?
I'm going to ask them to come sit down with me. You've been doing this for a while. I think you have a little more background than I do. This is what I'm trying to put together. Because when you get promoted, I want someone else to go listen. You're the leader of the company. You're one of the top leaders, so you're going to get promoted sometime. Walk me through this. You know, John over here said that he does it this way. Why would he do? I mean, I'm going to have that conversation. That's where I'm going to collaborate with somebody. Because the bottom line is that if you put your heads together, 3, 4, 5, you put your heads together, and this is the process, and that's the process, and that's what they're going to get. Now, if you know the process and you know things they don't know, for example, safety concerns, somebody's doing something and not paying attention to safety concerns, you don't get to fool around with that. But if I'm going to delegate something to you and you don't know how to do it, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to get you buy-in and you're going to do it. But if you do know how to do it already, you may have a better process than I have, so I'm going to listen to it. If I disagree with it, I'm sorry, this is the way we want to do it. Cool. Any other questions in that area? I want to know how to communicate with everybody. I want to make sure that I'm there. I want to make sure that I'm teaching it the right way. I want to make sure that they are in clear understanding what the program is, what I'm delegating to them. I want to assign them that task. Well, let's take a look at how this whole thing comes together real quick. See if I can do this for us here. Perfect. That's for those guys. Let me see that one real quick. All of you have Office 365. Oh, you know what? Let's see if we can find a pretend email. Okay, so Rhonda wrote me an email, but she says she's out of the office. We're going to pretend like she wrote me the instructions for a new task. Okay, I'm going to take Rhonda's email. I'll show you guys on Skype in just a second. Take Rhonda's email. And all I'm going to do is pull it into my calendar because it's a calendar, it's a task. Okay, so I'm just dragging it down there. And I just let it go. Now, most tasks are either appointments or they're tasks. We're making this one an appointment, which means we want to do this at a certain time. But that's not what we want to do because we're assigning this to someone to delegate. So we want to assign it to them as a task. So let me go back here real quick to this so you can see this. Drag this open just a bit further. Okay. Take her, go to white, and drop it in the task category. Okay, and it opens a task. So I'm going to do the same thing for people watching. Okay, any day. Okay, so we'll drop it. This one, that's the real one. We don't want to drop that one. Need that one for sure. Okay, so we'll drop. There she is right there. We'll drop it in there, and it creates a task for her. So I'm going to do this task, but you know what? I'm going to delegate it to somebody. I have already built a piece of smart art around this. I've already built a piece of smart art. I can grab that smart art and drop it in because that smart art is nothing more than a graphic. I can take that smart art and just drop it right into here. But if I don't know how I'm going to put it together or it's not a graphic built, all I have to do is click in what I call the ocean, go to the insert menu, it's hiding here. Oh. See what it's hiding on this, so let me show you. Smart art. Okay, he's going to choose a piece of smart art. I'm going to go here and click in the ocean for the folks at home. I know you guys not at home, but I'm going to call that. Insert, piece of smart art for them. Now, all you gotta do is fill it in. All you gotta do is fill it in. Just say, here's this, here's that, here's this, here's that. Here's this stuff, here's that stuff. Just fill it in the way you need to fill it in. Adjust it. That's the task. Once that's completed, you can go up to, right, this is task. And then just click on task and click on assign task. It turns it into an email. Remember, you got your smart art in, you got all the steps, you got everything needed in. They got the email from the other person. So they also not only have the graphics you laid out, they have the email. It's from so-and-so who say, hey, we want this to happen this date, this. They had all that information. You're going to go ahead and mark off for them the information that says, okay, let's do this. We'll start at this date, let's do this date. And then additionally, you're going to say, you're going to make sure you have checked off the bottom here, keep an updated copy on your desk, and send me a status report. This way you're not micromanaging, but you're verifying. Verifying. And you teach your team to move that status far up. Hey, I got 10% done today, 25% done today. Hey, if it doesn't move up, then you got to go, you forgot to move that bar up. Did you get anything done yesterday? Let me show the folks at home. So click on the task, assign task, and make sure these two buttons down here, keep up to date, keep an updated copy, and send me a status message. Teach your team to, whenever they finish something, whatever percentage on for the day, to move that bar there. If you don't see that bar moved, you go to them and say, hey, you forgot to move the bar yesterday. Where are you? Make sure you do that. To keep track. Verify. Trust them, but that's how you can verify. If that bar is not moving up appropriately, hey, what's going on? How can I support you? That's the delegation piece using your Microsoft Outlook. That's your delegation piece using Microsoft Outlook. Everybody stand up with us. Everybody take a 5-minute break, please. Before you fall asleep in your chairs.
You want to trade? I did. I added 3 of them. They have to bring all the stuff for the day and bring all the stuff like one. So you do 3. Me or Alicia. I'm taking stuff out in the morning. I'm taking stuff out in the morning.
Thank you for driving me this.
Also bring it to I think it's one of the Actually, this one's connected by the why can't I have this? That's on that screen.
Are you logged into a certain?
Yeah, we're logged in the same network.
Could you operate it from here and it should go there?
Or
Or should go voice?
so this is where home webinar is at right now. This is yeah, but this webinar here, because this is the actual live out, is about 5 minutes delay. But if I can do this, can't I just
Populate here.
can't I just
Because
do
we're going to use the screen and we'll still be able to get it on the screen.
see how I just walked in there?
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? I'm wondering.
Yeah, like ours literally like.
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm doing.
I did notice that.
Yeah. So I have to learn. So I'm absolutely. There's one way to find out for sure. All righty. When you're folding your paper airplanes with this screen of help. With that screen of help, when you're folding your paper airplanes. Let me show it to you again. All the instructions there on the left, that'll help. It's visual. I'm sorry. And what they did, they have these for all the different designs you have. Designs that you guys all have are marked easy. Oh, they're easier than some of them. The guy who introduced this to me, though, he could build one of these paper airplanes off the difficult ones, and he had it videotaped. He threw it off the stadium, the top third level of the football stadium, and it went all the way down, and landed about midfield. It just got it, and you see it kind of doing this little acrobatics, but just kept on going all the way down and landed midfield. The whole stadium was up a 5 in that airplane. It was the only one that did it, but it was pretty cool to watch that happen. But you can do that. You can do that. That's not a problem. All right. Let's go here. We did the onboard assignment already. We don't need to do that again. Teaching the process. Where are they now? Homework that you've already accomplished. If you're going to really get someone to agree to the process, you have to know where they are. You have to know where they are. So in your workbooks, and will also, this form will be on the Met Team site. Okay. Now, I'm sure as you build out your own Microsoft Teams, you'll probably put it there. But until then, it'll be on the one that I'm going to give you. You can just go. I'll show you all this tomorrow. You just go to the file. You can click it and do this. But I highly suggest you do this for every single individual. The task you have in your mind right now is to get off in 1 hour. I mean, we'll take 1 hour off your desk a week. You have to start assessing your team. This is what I call the fundamentals, the dirty work. I have to sit down and assess them. And you can't think, okay, well, I know these people pretty well. I don't have to worry about that. I mean, I know them. But if you take the time to go through here and score each of these, it's going to make a huge difference. It's going to make a huge difference. You can get the hard skills and you can figure out, if it's needed, not needed. Okay? And go there, as we talked about on the call. The next page, though, where it talks about your ability, on the same screen, but on your page number 20, the soft skills. So, I was here, July 10, something like that. I know I told you the story because it was fresh in my mind, because July 24th or 25th marked the anniversary. We're all talking about Captain Susan and her attitude. You're not going to discover anybody's soft skills until you truly have a good picture of their attitude. If they don't belong here, they don't belong here. If they don't belong doing this assignment, they don't belong doing that assignment. But as we talked about, or just our high-level view, you got to document all this stuff. You got to look at what their soft skills are. And decide if they're willing to be flexible, if they're willing to go that extra mile or two. Do they want to learn more than what they should have learned? Or could have learned that? Do you guys learn? You do. But the soft skills, this gives you a way to quantify those soft skills better than any other things you can have. But don't forget attitude. I can delegate all I want to somebody, but if they don't want to do it, it's not going to happen. Right? It's just not going to happen. Just not going to happen for you. So then on the next page, we talked about page 21. Again, just for your reference, you have where they are, behavior-wise. If you didn't do this for your homework, go right now, right back to that first Excel spreadsheet. Go there right now, and let's go ahead and see where they are now. The person you're considering taking over this delegation, this score them right here, right now. Remember, if it doesn't apply, the skill set doesn't apply, then you don't put a score there. Do it right now. Because come tomorrow, we're going to go to work on this. So you should have this on page number 19 to 20. Some of you have already got it done. Great. You got some extra homework to do in a second. If you've already got it done, that's great. Just relax for a minute. You got extra homework. Extra. Those who didn't do it, you're going to be really sorry in just a moment. I'm going to ask you to do something here. I'm asking you to kind of really take it seriously. You may or may not know who this other person is referring to, but I'm going to ask you kind of don't care who they're referring to. But I'm asking you. Okay, so it's going to be. One of her to stand by her decisions and have a good reason for all her decisions. You guys follow this? So she's that you're gonna go to somebody else that you haven't worked with today. Somebody else you haven't worked with today and say, here's my list, here's your list, and you're gonna quiz each other. You don't care who that person is, you just want to make sure that that person has a good, solid reason for saying that about that person. You know, 5, tell me why you give them 5 and not a 6 or a 4. Well, you know, I give them a 5, blah, 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 blah. You know, to be honest, they probably deserve a 3. As you'll find yourself, as you're talking through this, defending your viewpoints, defending why you said this, you'll adjust those numbers. You know, I give them a 5 because I really don't like them very much because they're kind of mean, but they do how to do this, so we can do that to 7. 5 minutes on the hard skill portion. Work with somebody you haven't worked with before today. Hold each other accountable for each one of them. Say, this is why I gave them that score. The other person has to say, well, I know so-and-so, and he's not that way, or she's not that way. That's not your job. Your job is to say, tell me and define clearly why you gave them this score, why they got this score. I need a clear definition of it. Go to work, 5 minutes. 10 minutes, excuse me, 10 minutes. So make sure you find somebody you haven't worked with today. Listen, I'm gonna turn the light off on you, so. Okay. Well, this is more for 109.
She's a better person.
I was going to have so I was going to have so I was saying, person 144 but the plus selection investigation, since you're here, let me just ask you. You're really generous with all this. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Do they know? They're excellent, but the 10 means perfect.
No, she is absolutely therapy. No errors.
So they can use the software that they have right now. They can use it one to teach the next person comes in. See, that's all. No, I'm just asking you. I'm trying to force you to make sure you're clear on your decisions. Okay? Because, yeah, I can use it, but maybe I can teach that. Okay.
So that's why the skills are so strong.
So they can program? Yeah, proficiency in programming languages.
Like program like software?
Yeah, football, C#.
No.
But that's not
What I mean?
Yeah.
No, just not like stuff. Like could they like write like something we need it or something that I'm doing, would they do that?
Okay, so that's your definition. That's fine. Okay, so long as that's your definition, you can stand by this. Okay. Writing computer teaching, definitely number 4. Oh, you're right. Writing computer codes. It's the programming is thinking. The teaching, give them 4. But if they're really proficient and go to use software programs for, so they can't really teach it that well. What's the deal? Is it personality or?
Well, I look at it the other part is teaching like in a classroom.
Okay.
Or if they go in and run a classroom. I don't know, I look at it just different because of where we are.
No, it's fine. As long as you can stand your ground, and I'm going to push a little bit more, so they can't go inside the classroom and teach. They could, but they do it damage.
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend them, you know.
So do you think they can go do the job without doing damage? Is it a little bit higher than 4? But then, okay, so that's why we look at it. Because you're going to have someone who would go in there and harm the student, teaching the wrong information, things like that. So I don't know if I would just like to look at that one. Next one, investigating the answers to the questions. Why only a 6?
Because I don't think that neither one of these people are really investigating. Maybe socializing with others.
I give a command to do the investigation.
Give them questions on I mean, this is what I'm doing. I don't know. How would it end up
Okay, they get it down. But they're coming to me and saying that these people sometimes can, they don't know, if I'm that person, how do you get me to say, okay, I will get that answer myself? What do you have to say to me?
How are we going? What's going to be the best? I don't know. It's going to be the best way to go about this.
Good start.
You know, how are you going to get this person to do this? Put it onto the person responsibility. Instead of becoming. That is
so my suggestion would be to set the bar a little bit higher, because this type of person, if it was you and I'm telling you, you know what you're doing, you've been doing this, you have so much knowledge in this area. What do you think is the best way? Because you know how to do it. You probably you know it better than I do. So help me figure it out. Make sure that I recognize their level of knowledge, and over the higher level, they'll get that knowledge. Like that. If that's wrong, let me know, because you've been doing this about longer than I have. You have a stronger feel for this stuff than I have. I have a pretty good feel for it, but you have a stronger feel because you're in this industry, you've been in the industry, or you went to school for this industry. You have been able to build to do this. So,
I've done it this way before, but I'm really going to find another way to do it.
Yeah. So you can start pushing that up. Yeah. But if I'm talking about a commander or an answer, it's so clear you go say, you got this.
Right. You got this.
So this is something you're standing down pretty good on all this.
Yeah.
Building things, we almost said way across the set of airplanes. Why only 8 university related to?
For this person, because really right now that's not even what that's not what she does. She's not really over leading anyone. But like on this person, she is. But I mean, I know that anybody can lead anybody to do anything, especially if they're over a project. She definitely probably, I put her over something and she got her group together. She could lead them, 100%.
So she knows how to lead now to her experience. The other person doesn't know, they don't have the experience, but do they have the personally?
Oh yeah. That's why. I mean, I scored her so high in an 8 because I know she can do it. I just haven't seen her do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. But here's my question to you. The question is to say, do they?
Yeah.
Do they lead? Do they have the ability?
I think so. But I think that this person would still come to me, saying, like answers until I got her. She's not exactly where I need her to be. Even to like leading, because right now she just she does do like some like meetings and stuff. She gets them and gets them to go classes and things like that. So she can lead.
So now do you see
the value? That's a high school.
Yeah, my past you see what you just did? I asked you a question and I just let you talk. You said, well, wait a minute, she has that. She's done this, so she has so a high school for them.
Yeah.
Said that. I can say it.
Right.
So high school. So you would adjust it, but also think about the delegation question you're ready to give her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what helps you decide if she's ready for it now. But also decide if she's also.
Right.
So it covers both places. So yeah, as long as you can stand up.
Yeah.
I
definitely can.
What process are you getting ready to give? What do you think about giving?
Well, actually, I was going to give classrooms 3 and 6 to her and classrooms 1 to 3. It's doing the same thing.
Okay.
And so I was going to kind of split it between the two. But the reason I gave her 1 to 3 is because she is a little more experienced. She is and what classrooms 1 to 3 are is kids to the center. And so everything's going to be new to them. So she's really going to have to teach them a lot more than the one that's going to understand the real students. 2 years. But that's why I split it that way.
Okay. So you have it doing classroom 2 through 6. Okay. 10.
Yeah. And so that's why I kind of split them that way. I split one class that I do, and it takes me several hours a week. When I do it down, because I think that I know they have to do it.
So
I have to be efficient.
Well, you just kind of answered my question. It's not good, but now if you're going to pay $100 an hour, at least we're going to pay $25. It takes them 2 hours to do a job, it takes you 2 hours. It takes them 2 hours to do a job, it takes you 1 hour. So $50, this is $100 cost the company, and if you did it, cost $100. Is that okay?
I think so, because I would be able to use my time to develop more people and to lead my team.
Yeah, you can put that $100 elsewhere that makes you
yeah, and to have my meetings and that's what I'm trying to manage.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that can stop. Once you're trying to take 50 hours out of the equation, that'll stop.
Right. Because I would just do the test I'm doing is only just like nothing that they're really going to have to like,
So you're not teaching anything new yet? Any new skills for them?
Yeah, because they don't know anything about it.
Now, have you taken the time? Don't want to forget to listen. But when you do the very for yourself and you're doing the task yourself, take screenshots along the way. But I want to make sure that you, every time you do something, screenshot. Screenshots. Yeah. So that way, when you're putting it together, you have the screenshots right inside the piece of smart. So they see what you see. That way, you're less likely to miss a step.
Right.
But you just gotta push yourself with this. I did this, boom. So that now I think you can do a lot of it. But you'll be able to eliminate those later on. Do as many as you can when you do the process yourself.
Yeah.
Like, cool, you got it. You got it. Okay. How many objects can stay talking to each other? How many of you discovered this? We said this is how you can look at this for delegation, but how many of you discovered to say, this actually helps me develop my people? I see what that person's weakness is. How many of you had to change a number on your sheet? Now, here's something I found myself guilty of doing until I stopped it though, and I'm going to toss out to you the warning. Ask the question and you shut your mouth. I didn't do that all the time, right? Ask the question and pretty soon I follow up with another question. But the first time I asked the question and stayed quiet. She said, well, I gave them this score for this reason, this reason, this reason. Well, you know what? They did do this, so they're not so bad at that. Yeah, they know how to do that. My score is still too high. If you would have asked, if I would have asked you those questions like that and you stop talking, she would have talked herself right to where it should have been. Right to where it should have been. So when you're coaching, especially your own peer level, ask the question and keep your 2 cents out of it. As soon as I just started talking to herself a little bit and saying, you know, yeah, I gave her that score because she doesn't have experience and she doesn't need people winning, but she does do these meetings, so she is leading people there, and she does this and that, but the score is still too high. That's how you do it. And now she knows, look, I gotta get this person more time developing people. Even though the score she's looking at had nothing to do with the task that she's given. It may have something on the outside, but it's not part of it. It's not part of it. So that was important. So you guys got a good feel for that? Adjust your numbers tonight. Adjust your numbers tonight. Adjust your behavioral style sheet tonight. Make sure you're clear on who your behavioral style sheet is going to be. Who's going to be. Tomorrow morning, we're going to get into these, and you're going to create your plan. You're going to sketch out your smart art. You're going to sketch that out. You know, you can sit back there at your computer tomorrow afternoon and put it in. We're going to do that. You're going to make you're like me, I can assign things I want to. If I can't keep track of it, I don't know what's going on. And I would bet for $100 you guys have more people working report to you than I do. I have 5. How many people do you guys? 14, 15, 26, and I can't keep track of 5 unless I do that.
With the task, because I do send out a lot of emails. Ask them to do things, but unless I write it down and actually remember it, do the task, like alert, the problem that's going to something on it.
Yeah, you got to start to use that part as a slider. I did this much. I did that much. You're like, wait a minute. Or break it down. So the task that you want to give them has 10 steps in it. Break it into is step 1, step 2, step 3. So check it out when you got it completed. It's better for you to do those instead of just sending out an email. It reads as an email anyway, as tasks. It's better for you to do them as tasks. Now, if there's a time on it, move it to an appointment. They got to get it done between 1 and 2 o'clock, put in an appointment and put it as 1 to 2 o'clock. And have them accept that appointment.
It goes on the calendar.
It goes on the calendar. This is where you got to walk through this and get this in great shape. Where's my workbook? Yes. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So just put an X in it. Just put an X in it. You don't worry about it. Because the numbers is not, it's not a sliding scale. It's okay if you're at 100, you're that's the task. All the numbers say is you two compared. You got 144. He's got 155. You're better suited for that task. That's all those numbers are for. When you look at everybody in the team, who's better suited, and then also, like I said, it gives you the look in to say, okay, I got to get that person up to speed on this. So let's pull in a little bit from the last month or 2 months, 3 months ago. When you look at the soft skills, what soft skills is most important for that person leading the meeting? You're having a team meeting. What soft skills is most important for that person to take over that team meeting? Really? There you go. Self-confidence. Yeah, communication's up there, but you gotta have self-confidence because you gotta know that you have the ability to be in front of the room. Yeah, I can speak all I want to, but I don't have the self-confidence to be in front. How many of you took my advice last time and stopped running your team meetings? You go to leadership, you get the notes. Give the notes to that person and let them run the meeting. You want them to get more ability to lead in front of the room? There you go. Maybe you're addressing everybody, but they're running the meeting. Gary.
For me, that's the way I run is me and my and also included. And like in my director's meeting, I come back and I give them the feedback on what was discussed that pertains to them. But I also step back and I share my meetings. I guess I feel that I cannot expect someone else to lead something that they didn't really grasp. They weren't at my meeting, but I do allow others to step in. I don't ask my sister what you want me to talk about. She may tell me and I understand where she's coming from and I can't address it for her, but I do allow her to address what she needs to address with the staff. But
no, it's not. I want to give you different thoughts. You're mixing the agenda with me. The agenda should always be yours. What's going to be discussed is yours. You lay out the agenda. You're the one developing your agenda. The actual meeting is not. You don't worry about that. As long as they follow the agenda you laid out. As long as if she was my assistant director and she's in charge of the meeting, but it's my turn to talk, as long as I respect her because she has the authority and the responsibility to run the meeting, which means, Glenn, you talked 2 minutes too long. You're right. I'm sorry. Let's move on. If I'm over time, then it's my fault, not hers, not the rest of the room. But she's running the meeting for me. The agenda is yours. You can't let people push you away from that agenda. You may not have time to put her input in because you got all this in the direction. Sooner though that she can run the time schedule and take notes and all that stuff, the sooner she's able to go to that director's meeting that you are gone on vacation for when it takes place, and not worried about your team getting the right information back. Because you delegated that to her and she knows what she should be looking for in these meetings, and she has maybe her little check off sheet to say, hey, this is covered, this is covered, this is covered. Here's what my notes should look like. You're not even thinking about it on vacation. You're saying, hey, by the way, send me those notes so I can stay caught up. That's all you're thinking about. So, yeah, I see where you're going, but make sure the agenda is yours. You can't get rid of that agenda until you're ready to bring that person to take your place, vacation, or whether you're ready to take your place because you're getting promoted. The agenda is always yours. Does that help a little bit? So hard? No. Because you're the one that you're in the meeting. You're in the meeting. All right, let's take a look at page number 23. Let me see. I forgot to turn off the projector here so you guys can see up there. How many of you put the term feedback together with bad? I'm getting feedback. I mean, oh, someone watched it and said, "You might need to have a coaching club. Let's go for a walk so we can start to coach you." What's in your mind, that means? Yeah, let's try to start saying positive feedback. Feedback equals positivity. Coaching equals positivity. How do you do that? Simple formula. 3 and 1. 70% of the time positive, 1% of the time something wrong. In order to create that thing, you got to do it all the time. It just doesn't start right now. So honestly, how many of you are saying good morning to your team every morning? Good. That starts the positive feedback. Good morning. Nothing, you guys did that this morning with each other. That's what starts positive feedback. You won't accomplish this by being harsh, critical, or on the offense. Make sure you say good morning. Every chance you get, make sure you start going ahead and giving that person something good to say. You are going to have those times to say, you know what, this didn't quite go right. If I'm giving as much positive feedback as I can, all the other times when it comes time for me to give honest feedback, they're there. They're there. Always remember, the closer you get to the event, the better. If there's something wrong on the process you delegate it to them, the closer the day wrong, the better it's going to be for you. That's on page number 24. Do everything in your power to make it regular. How many of you are having regular one-on-one meetings with your team? Regular one-on-one. Or you just want to, man, you know what? That one-on-one meeting, you got to get them to understand a one-on-one meeting doesn't mean that you're in trouble. It means, hey, how can I support you? You're going to have 3, but that's better than 0. That's pretty good, though. That's pretty good. So, like I said, it's not once a year or once every 3 month event. There's one-on-one meetings that should be taking place on a regular basis. If I'm only having 2 people report to me, I'm not going to do it every week, right? Maybe I do 1 every week and rotate it around. Okay. Prepare your comment. Prepare what you're going to say. Script it out. Write it out. Guys, how many of you have started that process? I know some people are doing the SWOT and they've written it out before they got started and things like that. Make that happen. You want to have some confidence? Trust me. Be very specific, though. Tell them exactly what it is that needs to be improved. Don't sugarcoat this. Tell them exactly. I mean, it's just like the personal hygiene issue. Hey, we have a challenge with your personal hygiene. How do you plan to take care of this? We have a challenge with the way these numbers are adding up. What's been the process? Why do you think it's wrong? What's the best way to get this fixed? Tell them. If you tell someone that they acted unprofessionally, I want what they did. Hey, you're a little bit too loud in class. No, I thought that you carried a little bit too much negative behavior in class. Everything someone says, you attack. Remember to stick with what you know firsthand. I thought. You can't be. Well, Sally came to me and told me that you were being negative. I didn't think you were, but she said you were. Well, if you don't think they are, then don't even bring it up. This is the hard side of the feedback model. The hard side of it. Use I statements. Give feedback from what you see. I was angry about your behavior in class. I was disappointed that you came to dress unprofessional. I was this. You're the leader, take the responsibility. I noticed that when you turned this report, it wasn't formatted correctly. Tell me a little bit more about that. If I'm gonna get feedback on this, no, when you turn that report in, we noticed the numbers exactly correct. You did a great job with that. They're easy to see. Well, they were easy to understand. And it looked like you put the pivot table correctly together. We did notice, or I did notice, that you did not format it the way the company wants it formatted. Tell me a little bit more about that. Limit your focus. I don't know why this is such an issue. One item. It says no more than 2 issues. If you have one item that's wrong, if you try to add 2, 3, 4, 5 items to it, don't they all lose their focus, their power? What's the one item that is wrong that needs to be handled? You can have another meeting to take care of the other one, but let that person fix that one first. This is the feedback. When you're ready to let this project go, if you haven't been given proper feedback, believe me, it's going to bounce back. Here's the other thing about the timing of this feedback issue as well. Often, if I give you a project to do, here's your project, and we walk through the whole steps, and we do show, do, tell, teach, and we do all through the whole thing, and I finally sign you off on it, and the next week is your turn to do it. I'm going to go to you right away and say, you know what? You really did this right. You did this, you did this, you did this. Next week, focus on this a little bit. Week 1, week 2, you did that right, you did it right, you did that right. Keep it up. Week 3, no, you've been doing that better than I've been doing it. That's great. How you did that? Well, how did you come about that? Can you focus a little bit on this? Week 4, I'm not saying anything. Week 5, I'm not saying anything. Week 6, you've been doing this for 6 weeks. This has been great. I'm following back up though. So I'm not going to wear them out going to them every single week, but I'm not going to forget the data leading up to a year later. You've been knocking this out for a solid year. Really knocking it out. And you're changing the way it's getting done. It's looking great. Tell me a little bit more about why this happened. You know, would you mind teaching so-and-so how to do this? I think you need to help me do this. When you go out recruiting, you've been out recruiting for 3 months in a row. And every time you go out recruiting, we get busy. We get busy. What are you doing? Tell me a little bit more about how you're handling that right there. We're going to have a team meeting. That's your job. I want you to share with everybody. And after that team meeting, I want you to do one-on-ones. Everybody, what you're doing. You need that exposure. It's time for you to start moving up. By the way, help me create this smart arc for this. Help me create the smart arc for the process you're doing. Side note, if you help someone help you create that smart arc process and they walk through it and they're doing it wrong, you think they'll see it? They'll walk through and say, okay, this step. Wait a minute, though. If you do this without doing that, that happens, right? Oh, yeah, you're right. I'll stop. But if you just say, no, you're doing this, step 17, 18, let them create some smart art for it. They'll probably catch it. Yep, there's that rule I already talked about. Talk about good rules. The good rules to follow that 70-30 split. That 70-30 Dr. Deming work. It's a good thing to always kind of keep track of. We're on page number 25. provide specific suggestions, and try to end on a positive note. Yeah, the spreadsheet you have will also help you measure their improvement. But that's not what you're looking for. You're measuring their improvement as a member of your team. Are they ready to go on? Are they happy or are they better? That's what you're looking for. Be sure to document your conversation, especially the good, especially the bad. No one likes this statement, so I'll blow it up in your face. Feedback is a two-way conversation. You need to know how to give it and how to take it. How to give it and take it. Any questions on the feedback? On page 27, I gave you an article in your spare time. Some quotes I should say in your spare time about learning to let go. And it recognizes, even as one of the top business schools in the nation, one of the most difficult transitions for leaders is to make the shift from doing to leading. The higher you move up into your company, the less you're going to do. Page 28. Priorities. I want you to look at your daily tasks, things you can do, if you're thinking about delegating. And you're going to pencil those in here. Let's do a time check, see how much time we have to do this soon. Okay, we'll stop you. We don't have no time to really do this. We'll stop you and let you pick it up tomorrow. But what I want you to do is at least put your top 3 tasks that you do on a weekly, daily, monthly basis and slide those into the proper boxes. Is it important and urgent? If I don't do this task, Met is in trouble. We're going to have severe problems. We're going to have to close our doors. Somebody's going to get hurt. This is something that I need to do or needs to get done. Monthly, weekly, whatever it is. There's very few tasks that you're doing that falls in that area. There are some. There's very few tasks that fall in there. In your top 3 to 5, I think I'm going to bet the top 5 tasks. I bet nothing falls in that area. But they might. If they do, pencil it in. This is important but not urgent. I want to get this done because if I get it done, my team will improve. We will sharpen our saw. But the tasks that you are doing on a regular basis, what goes in that box? Not important and not urgent. It's not important. It's not urgent. I wish we could get to it. If I don't get to it, no one's gonna come screaming at me about it. Here's what I'm willing to bet. Most of the tasks you're thinking about fit right there. Hey, you know what? If I don't do it today, no one's gonna really holler at me about it. If I don't get it done this week, I know it's gotta get done, but no one's gonna really, I would look great if I get it done. And the last one is not the bottom left, not important and is urgent. Your top 3 or 5 tasks, just put a little note there on them. We're going to superimpose a scale on top of that come tomorrow. So you can start seeing how this fits into your team's work. Be prepared tomorrow to be able to sit down and bounce ideas off of each other They'll hold each other accountable, be a little bit tough on each other, and say, you know what? Let's not play with this thing. If you give this out the way this is, let's not do that. I'm gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna make sure we have plenty of scratch paper available. Hold you accountable. Scratch out your smart art. You can scratch out the head, scratch up, and scratch up, and scratch up. For the top 1, 2, or 3 things you need to move out and get it out of the way. Who's doing anything fun tonight? Anybody gonna go watch baseball tonight? Your kids, Jen? So let me ask you another question. Who's doing anything fun tonight? I want to know. I'm just getting those. Personality type? Softball? You want to watch your granddaughter at the theater? You guys are really a bunch of party poopers. Are we meeting at 9:30 tomorrow? Tomorrow we get some work done. Last one out the door, right Nathan.
That would be the one thing that I don't try. For some reason.
It's a little loud.
But the thing is, she doesn't feel the lag. Because they don't. They don't. Yeah, basically, just as it delivers, as it arrives.
I'm waiting on cheese.